Hello people, today we are going to start with the control procurement processes under monitoring and controlling process group. Control procurement is the process of managing procurement relationship, monitoring contract performance, and making change and correction to contracts as appropriate. The key benefit of this process is that it ensures that both sellers and buyers' performance meet the procurement requirement according to the terms of the legal agreement. The inputs involved are PM plan, project document, agreement, approved change request, work performance report, and WPD. The tools and techniques are contract change control system, procurement performance reviews, inspection and audit, performance reporting, payment system, claims administration, record management system. The output is WPI, change request, PM plan, project document updates, and OPA updates. So the first input is PM plan. PM plan describes how procurement processes will be managed from developing procurement documentation through contract closure. Next is procurement documents, which it contains complete supporting records for administration of the procurement processes. This includes procurement contract award and the statement of work. Then next is agreements. Agreements are understanding between parties, including understanding of the duties of each party. Next is approved change request. Approved change request can include modifications to the terms and condition of the contract, including the procurement statement of work, pricing, and description of the products, services, or result to be provided. All procurement related changes are formally documented in writing and approved before being implemented through the control procurements process. Next is WPR, which is work performance reports. Take information from performance measurement and analyze it to provide project work performance information, including variance analysis, earned value data, and forecasting data. These data points could be impactful in controlling performance related risks. The next input is WPR. Seller performance related documentation include technical documentation, seller developed technical documentation, and other deliverable information are provided in accordance with the terms of contract. Work performance information. The seller performance report indicate which deliverables have been completed and which have not. Next is WPD. WPD includes the extent to which the quality standards are being satisfied, the costs that have been incurred or committed, and identification of the seller's invoice that have been paid. All data are collected as a part of project execution. Next is the Next is the tools and techniques involved. So first technique is contract change control system. A contract change control system defines the process by which the procurement can be modified. It includes paperwork, tracking system, dispute resolution procedures, and approval level necessary for authorizing changes. The contract change control system is integrated with the integrated change control system. The next technique is procurement performance reviews. Uh, Performance review is structured review of the seller progress to deliver project scope, quality, within cost, and on schedule as compared to the contract. It can include a review of seller prepared documentation and buyer inspection, as well as quality audits conducted during seller's execution of the work. The objective of performance review is to identify performance successes or failures, progress with respect to the procurement statement of work, and contract non-compliance, which allows the buyer to quantify the seller's demonstrated ability or inability to perform work. Such reviews may take place as a part of project status review, which could include key suppliers. The next technique is inspection and audit. Inspection and audits required by the buyer and supported by the seller as specified in the procurement contract can be conducted during the execution of the project to verify compliance in the seller's work processes or deliverables. If authorized by contract, some inspection and audit teams can include buyer procurement personnel. Next technique is performance reporting. WPD and reports supplied by the seller are evaluated against the agreement requirements. WPI from this information evaluation is then reported as appropriate. Performance reporting provides management with information about how effectively the seller is achieving the contractual objectives. Next technique is payment system. Payments to the seller are typically processed by the accounts payable system of the buyer after certification of satisfactory work by an authorized person on the project team. All payments should be made and documented in strict accordance with the terms of contract. Next is record management system. A record management system is used by the project manager to manage contract and procurement documentation and records. It consists of a specific set of processes, related control functions, and automation tools that are consolidated and combined as a part of project management information system. The system contains a retrievable archive of contract documentation and correspondence. Next is claim administration. Contested changes and potential constructive change are those requested changes where buyer and seller cannot reach an agreement on compensation for the change or cannot agree that a change has occurred. These contested change are variously called claims, disputes, or appeals. Claims are documented, processed, and monitored and managed throughout the contract life cycle, usually in accordance with the terms of contract. If the parties themselves do not resolve a claim, it may have to be handled in accordance with the alternate dispute resolution, which is also known as ADR, typically following procedures established in the contract. Settlement of all claims and disputes through the negotiation is the preferred method. Next next output is the management plan updates, project management plan updates. Elements of the project management that may include are procurement management plan, schedule baseline, and cost baseline. The procurement management plan is updated to reflect any approved change request that affect procurement management, including impacts to cost or schedule. Next is schedule baseline. If there are slippages that impact overall project performance, the schedule baseline may need to be updated to reflect the current expectation. Cost baseline. If there are changes that impact overall cost, and the cost baseline may need to be updated to reflect the current expectation. Next output is project document update. Project documents that may be updated include but are not limited to procurement documentation. Procurement documentation may include the procurement contract with all supporting schedules, requested unapproved contract changes, and approved change request. Procurement documentation also includes any seller developed technical documentation and other work performance information such as deliverables, seller performance report, warranties. Financial documentation documents including invoices and payment records and the result of contract related inspections. Next output is OPA updates. Elements of the OPAs that may be updated include correspondence, contract terms and condition often require written documentation of certain aspects of buyer seller communication, such as the need for warning of unsatisfactory performance and request for contract changes or clarification. This can include the reported result of buyer audits and inspections that include weaknesses the seller needs to correct. In addition to specific contract requirement for documentation, a complete and accurate written record of all written and oral contract communications, as well as actions taken and decision made, are maintained by both parties. Payment schedules and request. All payments should be made in accordance with the procurement contract terms and conditions. Next is the OP update. Seller performance evaluation documentation. Seller performance evaluation documentation is prepared by the buyer. Such performance evaluation documents the seller's ability to continue to perform work on the current contract, indicate if the seller can be allowed to perform on future projects, or rate how well the seller is performing the project work. These documents may form the basis for early termination of the seller's contract or determine how contract penalties, fees, or incentives are administered. The result of these performance evaluation can also be included in the appropriate qualifier seller list. So guys, I hope you got some idea on the control procurements processes under monitoring and controlling process group. So come back to my channel or subscribe to my channel for more videos on PMP and other things. Thank you so much for watching. See you soon.